I know you're gonna dig this.
Ladies and gents, 2017.
2017.
Haven't heard my voice in a while, I know. As you know, in the function, we've been real busy trying to open up the new facilities. But today, as usual, we have another Dayton gem. Sir, would you please give your name and who you are in the music industry?
Okay, my name is Floyd Miller. I'm known as the Brother Slide from the group Slave. One of the original founding members of the group. One of them.
What's slide mean?
Slide?
Yeah, what's a slide?
Ooh, boy.
For those that don't know what slide means.
Well, slide was an emotion. And it was something that, just came out of thin air, and it hasn't really didn't have a meaning. It was more or less an emotion.
Oh, so it didn't necessarily have to do with the instrument that you played, per se.
No, not at all.
They just called you Slide, huh?
Yeah.
You just so happened to play the trombone.
Yeah, just so happened. Yeah.
All right, now do this for me. Give me a little history, as if I didn't know, on the Dayton funk sound and the groups that came out of here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know there's a lot.
Yeah, the Dayton funk sound back when we were growing up, it was totally different from the industry as it is, as we call it today. Back then, we actually played the instruments. We actually created the songs that everyone hears today. And back then, it was friendly competition, but it was highly creative competition. And back then, when we had the Palladium and the other places where we can showcase our shows, our creative flow, the battle of the bands, that we all grew up with, playing in the parks during the summer when every other weekend there was a concert going somewhere.
Mobile stages, right?
Yeah. Music was thriving. It was like the talent, the camaraderie. It was intense back then.
And like you said, you guys all went to school together, so
yeah.
it was a competition thing, but it was more camaraderie in that you guys all respected each other.
Yeah.
And you could always see the love, even if, those of us that were on the street, when we would see you,
yeah.
I mean, if we didn't look at you guys as superstars, you were just like big brothers to us.
Yeah, and we respected everyone's individual talent and creativity. And back then it was a different world, and we was allowed to express ourselves the way that we need to express ourselves.
Yes.
And
well, one of the things at the Funk Center that we say is that we attribute our individuality and our growth to our ability to take music lessons in school. And that was one of the first things I'd say in the last 20 years, that when, they started cutting the budget, that was the first thing that came out of the schools, is they removed music. They removed arts, period.
All the activities for the young kids, it was removed. When we was growing up, it was there. Everything was in place.
However you needed to express yourself.
Yes, it didn't matter if it was music, art, anything.
Drama, play, didn't matter. You had a chance to grow in and to become an individual and not a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned something in your first statement, in the music today. How do you feel about sampling? Because I think that's the term they're using. How do you feel about the sampling of, I mean, you guys' songs from Slave are one of the most sampled songs in the world.
Ooh, the sampling. The whole digital world has been new to me, and I was never a fan of sampling. Never a fan of.
Well, being a horn player, no.
Yeah, because it's not creating. It's not being creative.
No.
It's not using your creative energies to
Yes.
create something that somebody can relate to.
Yes.
Something that's,
To have a flow.
yeah, and to move people. You know, that's an art. That's a talent.
And that all stems from taking, arts out of the schools.
Out of the schools, basic music.
Just basic music. We're not talking about you have to be a, concert pianist, but, just learning how to play music allows your other, or gives your other studies a better platform on which to think.
Yeah, stimulates your
science, math, all those.
Yes.
Every last one of those disciplines can be enhanced by learning how to play an instrument. There was a study done by the president that showed that, children who did have music instruction in their schools had a 17% higher test rate across the board on all subjects. So, but that's another story. We're going to get back to this little funk thing that we're doing.
Yes.
Now, tell me this then, why hasn't funk music been celebrated years ago? And why has it taken so long for us to catch on? Or why are we so passive about our rich funk history?
That's a good question. I feel that funk was drowned out a long time ago. It has never died. It was just kind of phased out when disco came in and led into the hip hop craze that totally changed the face of music and how we perceive it and how we put it together. But at the same token, all the samples, all the music that we're hearing today, it's bringing our young folk back to the roots,
Yes, sir.
the old school. They want to know, where did that music come from? How was it created? I think it's coming back.
Yes, it is.
And that's my mission. One of my missions is to bring that back, the old style entertainment. Bring back the crowd out to the clubs, for a real show.
Not a three-piece band with sampling and loops and everything else being played
digital,
in the background.
Automated. All that's all well and good, but you have to mix that with the old school.
Yes, sir.
Bring it together. The music industry is changing. It's constantly changing. But what should never die is entertaining the people.
Yes.
The fans. That is the most important thing.
And being creative.
And yes, expression.
Expressing yourself.
Expression.
Well, the sound was defining at the time, and like you were saying, it's still used today. There's certain artists that you can tell they have like a funk kind of soul.
Absolutely.
But just like the Wright brothers, people don't know that, funk music, we say this is the land of funk for a reason. Why do you think that's so?
Because of all the talent that was cultivated here.
Yes.
Dayton, Ohio, and the surrounding areas has a rich musical history. I can't explain it. It's something that has to be felt. Dayton still today is known all over the world as the music mecca. And the talent that is still here today is it's crazy. But a lot of people got the wrong idea about the music industry and don't know the industry in itself. It's a cutthroat world.
Yes, sir. Well, what Marshall Jones said is that he said it's the sweat off God's feet that ended up in the water table here in the Miami Valley as to why, we have such a rich, history of innovation. So not just music, but, everything created out of Dayton, Ohio has touched thousands of industries.
Agreed.
From music to farming to automotive.
Yes.
But that's another conversation for another day too. But you were saying that, one of your missions was to also not only just increase awareness, but to bring back the feel of music instruction. So what would be your plan moving forward on how to accomplish that? Is that something that maybe we can work with you or you with the Funk Center to accomplish?
Well, that is my my mission, my goal. One thing that we all learned in the group, and then maybe a lot of them have forgotten it, but what we've learned, we need to pass on to the young.
Yes, sir.
We need to not let this art die. And that is one of my missions. I always want to work with new and young artists. I know
The
a
younger
lot
the
of
better.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, but there are talent out there that has not been discovered. And
Thank God for YouTube.
oh yeah, thank God, yes. And those are the people that I want to reach. Those
Yes,
are the
sir.
people that I work with. My wife and I, I have my own production company, and we've been working with artists all over the country for the past for years, and we've continued the tradition of real music. I know we live in a digital world, but individuality, creativity, creative flow, it's missed. We need to bring it back.
Yes, sir.
And that is my goal by any means necessary.
That's part of the Funk Center's mission, is to bring back music instruction, actually bring back arts. We're going to find a way, if we have to do these instructions out of our facility, that's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Because the younger generation has a chance to do even greater and bigger things than we did, because there's a missing step there.
Yes.
So something, like you said, happened in the mix, in that it got left out, and it was our responsibility as their elders to make sure that they got at least the kind of life or the kind of shall we say expressionism that we were allowed for it to grow.
Yeah, we owe it to ourselves.
Yeah, we owe it. Yes.
To have that.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Because
I
all
agree.
because your mother was my mother, and vice versa. Like you said, it was a village, and it does take a village.
Yeah,
and
to
we got
raise a
away from
child.
that village mentality. I mean, people live next door to each other and can live next door to each other for 20 years and not have once broke bread together. But again, that's another story. So as you see, there's going to be a part 2 to this.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's what is missed. That is what's being missed
Yes.
in today's society. We have to get back to our children because they are the future.
Yes, sir.
And we have to uplift, not tear down.
Yes.
Don't
Don't tear them down, because it's not their fault.
Right. The society
It's
that we
our
live
responsibility.
in. Yeah, it is. It's our responsibility. And society is cruel. It's cruel.
Yeah, it's not too far gone. I think I'm the optimist, so I have to believe that element that we see on TV, because they only portray the bad,
Right.
is a small part of society.
Agreed.
Because if it were the majority of society, it would be affecting me directly. And fortunately, that I'm blessed that it hasn't affected me directly. And mostly anybody that I know, it hasn't affected them directly. But did you use social media?
Boy, social media. And that's another story too. Yes, I was. I was a part of social media. I'm still a part of it, but I use it sparingly, because social media to me is a dangerous medium, man. It should only be used to take care of your business. Personal stuff, man, need to stay off the internet. I don't believe in putting out my business and other people's business for the whole world to see.
Yes, agreed. There's a way to use social media responsibly.
Responsibly, yes, and that's
because
what I'm
that's
about.
where that's what these children do. I mean, that's how they communicate. Me and you would be communicating by just talking, just walking down the street. We don't have that anymore because they're all into their phones or their smartphones or their iPods or whatever.
Exactly.
But it's something that we can change because they didn't buy them.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
We bought them.
We bought them. That's true. Yeah, they need to get out of that digital world
and get back to the world.
Reality.
Yes.
Yes. We all do.
And intermix it because social media is not going anywhere. Electronics is not going anywhere.
Right.
We just need to be more responsible. And we need to oversee what our children are doing on a daily basis.
And guide them.
Yes, sir. And be responsible about it.
Yes. Agreed.
Now, after all is said and done and people come from miles around, what kind of experience would you like to see them walk away with when they come to the Funk Center? Because, we're building a Funk Center. Did you know that?
Yeah.
We're building a museum, right?
I am aware of it. I haven't seen it yet.
You already know. There's names that are on a list. We'll call it a phantom list for now, a ghost list, and I promise you, your name is already on the list, Floyd. When the Funk Center reopens, you will get a private invite because we won't be able to put it out to the world on the actual opening itself because it would be just flooded. There would be hundreds of people there, and we have to control the space. But when they come to Dayton, Ohio, and they come to the Funk Center, and they see the exhibit of slave. We have an extensive slave exhibit, by the way. What would you like to see them walk away with? Take your time.
That's
because it's an experience. It promotes all kinds of emotions. I mean, when you see some of the memorabilia that David Webb has been able to accumulate in such a short period of time, it's nothing short of amazing.
I want them to take away the fact that you can accomplish anything. You can do anything in this world if you believe, trust, put in the hard work. I want them to take away, be inspired. Everyone on this planet has a story to tell. Everyone. And
and a purpose.
A purpose and a talent.
Yes, sir. No matter how small or large.
Yeah, I want them to take away what we built, what we worked so hard to do. You can do the same thing with a little work. It's.
Big dreams require, not only big ideas, but it requires work. It's just, God gave it to you.
Yes.
You got to use it.
You got to put
You
the
got to
time.
hone it. You got to practice. Whatever that skill or talent is, you still have to put the work in.
And that's another thing that we've gotten away from. Rehearsal, practice.
Yes, sir.
Playing the music like it's supposed to be played, actually playing.
Yes.
That's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone could do it.
Everyone could do it.
That's a certain skill. That's a certain talent.
Absolutely.
Not everyone could be a brain surgeon.
Right.
Not everyone could be an artist.
Right.
But when you find someone or an individual that has the ability to understand concepts musically, we need as a society, or we as a function, meaning the Funk Center, we're going to grab that person and we're going to hone them and we're going to educate them. We're going to do whatever we need to do.
Creative flow.
Yes, sir, because it's all about being creative in the end.
Yeah.
What are you doing to produce something different? What are you adding to the mix?
Absolutely.
Now, so that we said that we're building this museum. Why do you think the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center belongs in the city of Dayton?
For the simple fact of all the talent and all the music that has been created here. The the history, this is where it belongs. You know, I truly believe this is where it belongs because of all the talent that is here and still growing.
And still growing.
It's still growing. It needs to be nurtured, cultivated. You know,
because the period we're talking about, there were 15 major acts signed to major record deals from the city of Dayton.
Yeah.
At one period, 8 out of the top 10 songs on the charts were from groups from Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean,
that's and this little bitty city, that's what we contributed to the world.
Yeah.
All right, so now we'll get off track a little bit because everyone wants to know certain questions, and so I think the producer of the show wanted to know, how did you feel at such a young age in the group Slave of being blasted onto the world scene? How was that feeling?
Extremely overwhelming, exciting. Too fast. It was very fast. I don't think any of us was aware of what we had until it actually happened. But when it happened, it took us all by surprise. It actually did.
Because we Tim Dozier and Steve Arrington have both been on our show, and wow, they almost said the exact same words. It happened too fast.
It did. It did.
We were talking about overnight success. It didn't even happen overnight. It was like the next hour.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, but it really wasn't overnight. When we first got together, instead of doing house music,
the summer of '76, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
Good year.
We were doing house music better than the actual artists.
Yes.
So
didn't we though?
Yeah, we decided, okay, let's create our own music, our own style, and put it out there. And that's what we concentrated on, was the sound. Yeah. And I believe that took us a long way, because we didn't go out playing in the nightclubs and stuff like that. We stayed in the basement.
Yes, sir.
We developed
the original garage bands.
Yeah, garage bands, basement bands, and we didn't come out until we knew we had a viable product.
Yes, sir. Until it was tight.
Yeah,
it was tight. Okay, so now I want you to give me. We'll start with 2, unless you go real crazy. But you got to keep this clean, because the kiddies are listening to this. 3 of your greatest experiences out there on the road that you remember the most.
Performing here in Dayton at UD Arena.
I was there.
Getting our first gold albums at Madison Square Garden.
Wish I'd have been there. Saw videos of it. Yeah. Now, not to stop you, who do you? Of course you do. Who'd you guys open up for when you played at UD?
The Emotions and
That's right.
Commodores.
They was a tough act to follow, because you guys, when you came off the stage, the building was on fire.
Yeah, not only was it on fire, there was no air conditioning.
It was hot. It wasn't no breeze coming through there.
The air conditioner had quit. Yeah, it was a crazy
absolutely
day.
It was, but oh my God, that was an amazing night. That was amazing. Okay, so UD, Madison Square Garden, when you got your gold.
Wow. Man, oh man.
I know there's a ton of them. Steve and Tim they didn't have a trouble with it, but yeah, they said it was so much that it was hard picking their top 3 experiences.
Yeah, I'll have to go back. I have to say, doing Don Kirshner's rock concert and Soul Train, going out there, being on TV for the first time. That was the greatest.
Now, that is so amazing in that both Tim and Steve mentioned the same 3. That must have been an amazing time.
Wow.
the same, except Don Kirshner's rock concert. This is the first time that I've heard that from a member from the group Slave. Because, Marshall had mentioned it also in his interview about going on Don Kirshner's rock concert, because I think that was the first time that Sugar sang lead.
For the players.
For the players.
Yeah.
All right, well, again, everyone, Mr. Floyd Miller, trombonist, funk group Slave. It has been a pleasure. So round two, we'll just get some coffee and we'll sit at the big table and maybe get some more of your bandmates in here, and we'll just have a round table, and so you guys can see each other. Because when's the last time you saw Steve or anyone from the group?
I talk to him often.
Yes.
We are working on doing a reunion, but we have legal things that are in the way. We have people out there trying to take over the group that shouldn't be doing that. Legal matters that we have to take care of before we go back out. But I talk to them all. I talk to all of them on a regular basis.
Yeah, because Steve is in the studio right now as we speak.
Yeah.
He moved it from Chicago, and now he's over in New York trying to finish up his solo project, or another solo project, I should say.
Yeah, well, I'm working on my solo project as well. I'm getting ready to release an album.
Yeah, I heard.
And yeah.
Well, when that occurs, just send it to me.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna post it right on all our social media, because we use social media. I mean, us old guys, because we know because we're trying to get to the youth, man.
Yeah.
And since that's what they use, then we have to. And so since you brought something else up, and we at least get 30 sometimes an hour, how was it growing up and going to Roth High School and being around all of that talent? Because, there were, not only was Roth known for sports, but Roth had a rich musical talent. They also had a rich drama department.
Yeah. That's where I got my musical knowledge, basically in elementary school and when I went to Roth. Most of my time was spent in high school in the music room and on the track.
Oh, you ran track?
I ran track,
okay.
And I did marching band. So, yeah, music was very heavy growing up in my life, very heavy.
Well, we have someone in the studio with us, the president and CEO. I'm sorry, he is now the CEO of the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center. Would like to ask some questions.
Yes, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
How did you meet the guys? Like, how did you meet Steve Washington? And you go down the line, and so everybody likes to know that.
Well, how we came together. Slave was formed from two different groups. Mark Adams, Tom Lockett, and myself was part of a group called the Young Mystics. Steve Arrington was a part of that group too at that time, but he had left us and went to California. We was met at our rehearsal one summer afternoon by Mark Hicks, Drac. He came to our rehearsal and wondered if we would like to come together with a couple of his friends, Steve Washington, Tim Dozier. We was in the middle of a rehearsal, but nothing was going on. Everything was quiet. So we decided to go over there, and we met. We met at Tim Dozier's house, at his parents' house. We were in his basement. In his basement was Tim Dozier, Steve Washington, and Mark Hicks. That was the first initial meet. Their group was called Black Satin Soul. We were the Mystics. We had no intentions on getting together. It was just a meet and greet. We had no intentions. We didn't know what was going to happen, but we just plugged up, started playing together, and then boom, we knew that we had something viable, and it just took off from there.
And from there, when did the other guys start coming into the group?
Shortly after that, after we had established that we had a unit, in came the rest of the members. Orion Will Hoyt, Danny Webster, Ray Turner, Carter Bradley. They all came in after we had formed this, and we just decided to, we decided to make this the group. We didn't have a name or anything. We just wanted to put together a sound. We knew we had a sound. And we just put it together. It was just 9 different, 9 individual creative individuals. But we decided to work together as a team to come up with a sound, to come up with our own music, our original music. And we concentrated on that and that only. Everything else that was going on the outside, we blocked that out. All the troubles that we were having and stuff like that, personal problems and stuff like that, it stayed on the outside. When we came in to rehearse, it was about the music. And that was our greatest weapon, our unity. We was a team. And I don't care what nobody says. It took a team. It wasn't Mark Adams. It wasn't Drac. It wasn't Danny Webster or Steve Arrington. It was all of us, and no one individual can claim they're the group.
So the names, so when y'all created the name Slave, what was that really mean?
Slave, the definition of slave, our interpretation of slave was, it's taken from a 360-degree turn from the negative form of the word bondage, as everybody on this planet, doesn't matter what color, who you are, what ethnic background or anything, we all have a responsibility to the world, to the upkeep. We all slaves to the universe. We all got to get up every morning. We all got to go to work. We got to slave. We got to survive. We got to make ends meet. We got to take care of our family, our kids. We have to teach them right. It's about slaving to survive. That's what it's all about. It's positive. It's nothing negative about the group. Everybody is a slave to the universe, and we have a obligation for the upkeep of this environment that we live, this world that we call Earth, and
with its limited resources that are quickly dwindling.
Absolutely.
On some of the albums that you played, what was some of your favorite songs that you played on on your first? I know everybody loves Slide, but what was your favorite album that you like to play on?
My favorite album?
Yeah.
Tell you the truth, my favorite album is one of the albums that really didn't get that much airplay, and that was Visions of the Light. Visions of the Light, Just a Touch of Love, and Showtime were my favorites.
Now, I'm a big horn player, and I remember you do Stellar back in the day. That da 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 da. Now, how did y'all come up with that groove?
I don't know how I came up with it. It was a feeling. When we came together, when we get together for rehearsal, we blocked out everything. When it came to the music, it was like we all fed off of each other. And one person will come up and start a rhythm, and then somebody else will click, and it was like a domino effect. And when it came to creating music, oh boy, we was a team. We was definitely a team. And I would click off of Mark Adams, and Mark Adams would click off of me, and Danny, we would click off of him, his rhythm, his syncopated rhythms, and that would spark these horn lines. And it was just something that it was a feeling. It just hit me.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about Stellar. Okay, now I know who did the talk box for that?
That was Danny Webster.
Danny
on the the talk box, the old school talk box. Yeah, that was Danny.
A pump and a hose.
Yeah, yeah. Danny Webster was a key, had a key role in the success of the group. But like I said, it was a team. We all clicked off of each other, and you know, it's. I don't think there'll ever be another band like that again. You know, the way that we came together and created music. It was something to behold, you know, and everything that we did, it was for the fans. Everything is for the fans.
So you pretty much, y'all was like the serious young musicians before there was serious young musicians.
Yeah, and we didn't even know how serious we was into the music. It was just a feeling, you know. We didn't want to be out there in the streets, you know. We felt comfortable and at home playing music, and that kept us out of a lot of trouble, and we just concentrated on developing our sound. Good. That was the most important thing. Good. And the fans.
So how many albums have y'all done so far?
11 albums. 11 albums we've done. There were some other albums, but they were not actually slave sanctioned. They were projects. But we actually did 11 albums together before everything kind of disbanded. Yep.
Well, again, pleasure.
Man, the pleasure was all mine.
No, the pleasure, but I promise you, the pleasure was all the Funk Center. Done deal.
And I just wanted to say to the fans, you know, our music is for you guys. You know, we love y'all. It's for everything we do is for you guys. And we don't ever want you guys to forget it, you know. I know that you miss us, and we want to be out there.
Yes, we
do. But, you know, we got things that are preventing us from making that happen. But it's going to happen. We love you guys. Keep the funk alive, please.
Thank you, Floyd Miller, trombonist from the funk group Slave. Until next time, as Ryan says, keep it funky.
The words we sing so true, honest emotion used. Our love is here to stay. Thank you for the love you.
Walking down the street, watching ladies go by, watching you. Just a touch of love, just a touch of love.
They call me Drac. Here I come, baby. I ain't gonna bite you. I just want you to hang on. All right.